You're looking at a rifle that has already seen too much. The finish is worn thin and the edges are rounded from years of being carried, set down, picked up again, and carried some more. Dust has worked its way into every seam and corner. Nothing about it suggests precision engineering or laboratory perfection. And then you notice the rubber band, wide, pink, and wrapped tightly around the stock. Underneath it, a small fabric pouch is pressed flat against the metal. It's not ammunition or tools, but a first aid kit. Medical equipment strapped directly to a weapon, not because anyone designed it that way, not because a manual says it belongs there, but because somewhere along the line, a soldier decided that if he was ever bleeding, disoriented, panicking, or barely conscious, the one object he would almost certainly be still holding on to was his rifle. So he put the one thing that might keep him alive on the one thing he used to fight. During the Soviet War in Afghanistan, soldiers were issued small individual first aid kits. On paper, they were meant to ride in pockets or pouches. In reality, space on a soldier's body is always limited. Every pocket is already full. Every pouch competes with something else. Comfort's not a design priority. So a solution emerged that didn't come from engineers or doctrine writers. They took an S-mark tourniquet, a wide elastic band originally intended to stop catastrophic bleeding, and used it as a giant rubber tie. The first aid kit went around the rifle stock, the tourniquet went around both. Now the kit was always there. It was easy to reach, hard to lose, and impossible to forget. Weapons like the AKS-74 made this even easier. Its folding metal skeleton stock left a hollow triangular space, originally intended to reduce weight. Soldiers discovered that the gap was just large enough to cradle a small pouch. Wrapped tightly with the tourniquet, the kit stayed in place through marches, climbs, and firefights. There was an added benefit. Bare metal stocks become brutally cold in winter and painfully hot in the summer. Pressing your cheek against frozen steel for hours is its own special kind of misery. The rubber wrapping created a thin insulating layer. Not much, but just enough. It wasn't elegant or officially approved. It just simply worked. There were problems with it, though. Rubber exposed to the sun, heat, and cold eventually dries out and becomes brittle. A cracked tourniquet might snap when stretched, which defeats the entire purpose of carrying it in the first place. Soldiers did anyway, because it solved more than one problem at the same time. And that small detail tells you something important about how war actually functions. We tend to imagine modern warfare as a world of satellites, digital targeting systems, stealth coatings, and guided munitions. All of that exists, but underneath it is another layer entirely. A layer built out of tape, rubber, cord, and wire. Cheap materials pressed into service because the battlefield is a machine designed to destroy equipment. Everything vibrates loose, everything cracks, everything rubs, frays, bends, and fails. And waiting for perfect solutions gets people killed. During the Second World War, an American ordnance factory worker named Vesta Stout noticed a small but dangerous flaw in how ammunition boxes were sealed. The crates were closed with paper tape coated in wax. A small pull tab was left at one end so that soldiers could tear the box open quickly. The tab tore off prematurely, constantly. When that happened, a soldier had to dig out a knife or bayonet to open the box. Seconds lost, attention diverted, and in combat, that matters. Stout suggested replacing the paper tape with a strong, waterproof cloth-backed adhesive tape. At first, nobody listened. She kept pushing, though. Eventually, development began. The result was a tough, water-resistant cloth tape, originally green in color, soon nicknamed Duct tape, and later Duct tape, because it shed water and used cotton duck fabric. It was not invented to be famous. It was invented to remove a tiny mechanical obstacle that slowed soldiers down. Once it existed, soldiers immediately began using it for everything. Because things break. Vehicles shake themselves apart, electrical insulation rubs through, rubber hoses split, plastic cracks, panels loosen, and wires dangle. A perfect repair requires parts, tools, and time. Tape requires none of those. A strip of tape can seal a small leak long enough to reach safety. It can insulate a bare wire. It can keep a panel from flapping itself to pieces. So reliable is this solution that soldiers jokingly called it 100-mile-an-hour tape or 1,000-mile-an-hour tape. If the tape is holding, the vehicle can keep moving. Tape also finds its way into medical improvisation. It secures dressings, holds splints together, applies pressure where hands can't stay. No one pretends this is ideal, but war doesn't reward ideals. War rewards functionality. The tape began showing up on weapons almost immediately. One of the simplest uses is speed. Reloading takes time. Even well-trained soldiers need a couple of seconds to drop an empty mag and insert a fresh one. At close range, those seconds matter. So soldiers taped magazines together, 2 magazines side by side, usually facing opposite directions. When one runs dry, the soldier ejects it, flips the pair, and inserts the second. No reaching into a pouch or searching by touch. The next magazine is already in hand. This became common during the Second World War, especially among American troops fighting in the jungles of the South Pacific with weapons like the Thompson submachine gun, the M3, and the M1 carbine. Close terrain meant sudden encounters, and sudden encounters rewarded speed. There are drawbacks: extra weight, changed balance. The exposed spare magazine can collect dirt. For those reasons, many military officials discourage the practice. Unofficially, plenty of soldiers still do it, because shaving half a second off a reload feels worth a little extra cleaning later. Speed is one concern. Being seen is another. Modern camouflage uniforms are engineered to blend into specific environments. Rifles, however, are usually black. Black is simple and durable, but also stands out among the environment, so soldiers just wrap them in tape. Sniper tape is a dull, fabric-backed adhesive tape that reduces glare and breaks up a weapon's outline. Wrapped around stocks and handguards, it disguises the solid color and removes shine. It also protects against scratches, and most importantly, it helps keep a soldier invisible. This matters to most snipers. A sniper lives and dies by concealment. One of the easiest ways to betray a hidden position is reflection. The front lens of a rifle scope can catch sunlight and flash like a tiny mirror. During the Vietnam War, a skilled enemy sniper was killing American troops at an alarming rate. Marine sniper Carlos Hathcock was tasked with hunting him down. After a long stalk, Hathcock noticed a faint glint in the distance. He fired. The bullet passed directly through the enemy sniper scope and killed him. The lesson was simple: light reflects, and reflections kill. To reduce this risk, snipers began placing tape over the front lens of their scopes and punching a small hole through the center. They deliberately made their own optics worse, slightly dimmer, slightly narrower, because seeing less is safer than being seen. None of these modifications look impressive. They are not futuristic, they are not sleek, and they don't photograph well. They exist in a quieter layer of warfare, a layer where survival depends on noticing small problems before they become fatal. A soldier in Afghanistan strapping medical gear to his rifle, a strip of tape keeping a vehicle moving, 2 magazines bound together, a scope lens deliberately covered. These are not acts of genius, they are acts of attention to detail for survival. War is often described as a contest of technology between nations. It's also a contest of improvisation, of seeing what fails, of fixing it with whatever happens to be within reach. Sometimes that fix is a pink rubber tourniquet. Sometimes it's a roll of tape. Either way, it's rarely the thing anyone planned for, and very often, it is the thing that keeps someone alive.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, switch the notification bell on so you can stay updated, and I'll see you in the next one.